We are exchanging exotic engrams in 3, 2, 1.
Hello, everyone, and thanks for tuning in to episode 222 of the Guardian Hub podcast, where we talk Destiny, sometimes interview guests, and talk about our love of the game. And we have a fun episode for you this evening. Several little minor pieces of news about Destiny stuff is upon our laps that we can commiserate about, talk about, whatever. Are you ready for tonight, Cyn? It's right now Cyn and Kingsley at the helm.
Not literally in the helm.
No, that's true. Just at the helm of this ship.
What
even are we doing?
I'm just utilizing a bunch of my exotic engrams that have been piling up on my Titan. Used one on my Hunter, and using a lot of my Glimmer, my Ascendand Shards, my enhancement prisms. I'm preparing.
Okay, but even to back up, what have you done before that in the game?
Raid. We did a quickie DSC. A couple of people, Diverse and Darth Noodle and Soccer. Kato was there. He had some, I don't know, bike issues or shirtless issues, and he had to bounce for a minute. And then me and you, and then there was one more. I'm having a brain malfunction.
Diverse, and I'll pull up the Magnum something. I got to look up the...
That's it.
Yeah. I love that.
Shout out to that.
For you here, Cyn. Yeah. Yeah, shout out for that. That was fun. And while I'm looking that up, I also ran a raid the other night, yesterday evening, do you know what Kingsfall? I'm at 100 clears.
Are you? I still haven't gotten 100 clears off of anything.
Deep Stone, that was my 168th clear right there. That was Magnum Luxor.
Yeah,
the other person. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I actually ran Vault of Glass on Wednesday. I was thinking, and anyone who keeps up with how I feel about raids, Ron, I dislike so much that it's lower than Vault of Glass right now. So, and maybe because I haven't been running Vault of Glass as much, since it was the weekly raid, I'm like, why not? I scheduled a weekly raid on Wednesday, which I may or may not be trying to do more of those going ahead in the future. But that was the rotational raid, meaning, we get the extra loot if you do the challenges, and it can be farmed, blah, 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 all that stuff. And it wasn't too bad. And we actually did challenges, too, with Metal Mark needed a bunch. Shout out to him. And the only one that we didn't do, anyone who knows VOG, the second to the last Gatekeeper, it's kind of a pain doing that challenge.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you can do it with the stasis. None of us in our crew were really the ones that had done that part before, and we didn't feel like figuring it out or switching to stasis, so we're like, whatever. We just won't do that challenge. But all the other ones are very easy. Vault of Glass and Deepstone Crypt are definitely still the best two raids to bring newer people into raiding. You can get a good mix of teaching mechanics for whatever level they want to be at. Some people still refuse, like, oh, I don't want to do anything. Okay, fine. We'll try to push you into doing certain mechanics if you want, but if you don't want to, you can do other things. But the mechanics aren't too bad. But more importantly, since it's not the most recent raid, power level does not matter at all. You can run little more flexibility with the weapons you want, and ad control is not extremely hard, where in Ron, especially at the end. Ad control is extremely hard. So not always so good for a newer type of raider.
Right.
Anyways,
yeah, I missed that Vogue. I had some other things planned I forgot about, and it was in it, and ended up having to bounce earlier that day. Kind of sad I missed it because it's been a while since I've been into Vault. But I did look while you were chatting there. The most I've got in one raid, clear wise, is 79, and that's Kingsfall.
You have more Kingsfall than Deepstone?
Deepstone just got to 65 tonight.
Weird. I don't know where I got all these without you. I'm on 168. Not 5, but jeez.
Yeah, it's I mean, you do play a lot more than I do, right? Because you can play during the day some, where a lot of times I'm busy.
Most of my raids are at night.
Yeah, I get it. But especially lately, and it's been my life normally chaotic, right? Between work and kids and stuff. You know, a lot of nights that I want to get on, I end up not because of that. But I still, not bad for as busy as I am to get 79 clears in for that and 65 in for Deepstone.
Oh, of course.
And more to come here over the coming weeks, honestly.
Yeah, and Root of Nightmares, and I know it's the newest raid, but it is so low compared to my averages. It's down to levels of like Crown of Sorrow, and I loved that raid. We just didn't get a chance to run it as much, especially since they took it away not as long into its lifespan. But Root of Nightmares only have 28 clears. And then...
not far behind. I got 19.
Yeah. But Kingsfall 100, Vow 70, Vault of Glass 111, Deepstone 168, Garden 94, Last Wish 94, so basically 100 on those. And then Crown of Sorrow 24, Scourge of the Past 39, Spire of Stars 11, Eater of Worlds 53, and Leviathan 81.
You still got me beating all of those.
I have two
Spire of Stars, too. Just two.
Ew, just two. Okay.
But again, that was one of the raids when it was out that nobody really wanted to run, and none of us really liked it for what it was until we had to run it for whatever reason. I think it was one of the Solstice events or some event that they were doing, and it kind of pushed people into running it, and gained a little more respect for that raid at that time.
Yeah, it was the Moments of Triumph, and it was like at the end of all those raids were like rerunnable. You could farm them, and they did that for like 3 to 6 months before they said they were going away. So it was kind of a good, last hurrah for them.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Well, we have some news to talk about. Let's do just some of these quick ones here first. We've talked about the deep dives in the past and how they can be a pain because there's competing things going on. People trying to do tier 7 higher rewards, people trying to do the exotic mission, people just trying to get a quick clear. Although it does seem like if you want the catalyst, you probably should go for tier 7 also, because that gives you a better chance, or a guaranteed chance. But still, there's these competing objectives, whatever. People don't touch Tolan and people get mad and then they leave and whatever. But Bungie dropped in the patch notes on Tuesday that joining in progress is enabled for deep dive. What do we think about this? I haven't hopped in. I meant to do some homework. I mean, the annoying thing is we would have to run a lot before we would actually see that in person, which I don't want to do. But just in theory, what do you think about it? Do you think that's good, bad, not sure?
I mean, I think it's going to be good in the long run, right? Just for the simple fact that, if you go and do something that some blueberry doesn't want to do, right? You don't go a tier 7, you don't do the mission, right? And you just want to go for a clear. If somebody bounces, the likelihood of it backfilling at that point to be able to get 3 persons to actually clear it will be good. And the inverse, right? You're going for a tier 7 and somebody disconnects. You don't have to try to 2-man it, trying to go for that tier 7 all the way through. Hopefully it backfills and you're able to complete it at that point. There are some positives that go along with it.
I actually think this might be even more negative. Now, I'm glad they did this. I think it's brilliant. It's a good test. But the deep dives are already so messed up that don't complain, people, or Bungie say, see, we should have never done this, because I could have seen the writing on the wall ahead of time. I think it may even be worse then, because like if people are doing some objective, and then 2 people leave, and then they had gotten to like closer to tier 7 because they're not doing the exotic mission, and then the people leave, and then 2 new people join up, and they're towards the end, and they're like, well, we didn't want to do this, we want to do the exotic mission. And what if you, right, would you be pissed if you wanted a certain thing and you get put in somewhere weird at the end? And you would probably, a lot of people will just bounce then. It could be even worse, people just joining and leaving and joining and leaving.
I mean, honestly, if you're going in to run a exotic mission or a tier 7 at that point, you're probably going in with a fire team, not just random blueberries.
Yeah, but not really. I actually got my exotic done with random blueberries, and there's still a lot of people that just don't have resources. So, I don't know. I just see, and I wonder where the join in progress goes to. Like, does it literally join in progress all the way through the exotic mission? Or I would hope maybe it cuts off like when you enter the ship. Like if people leave, because that's where there's a timer part. That'd be chaos if like people leave. Not that many people would leave there, but let's just say it happens. You're in the exotic mission, you have the timer, and someone leaves, and then it brings in someone else. That'd be weird. I mean, helpful, I guess, but also weird if someone's already done the exotic mission. Like, I don't want to be here. You know?
I mean, possibly. I mean, I think there's more upside than there are to negatives. Again, I think that if you're running the higher difficulty stuff, that it won't matter. And you're going to be going with a fire team.
But not everyone wants to. Yeah, I think there's going to be, more negatives and positives, but I haven't cared to go in. Let us know what you think. Look at us. We can have dissenting opinions. And let us know.
My kids in the background have their opinions.
They have their
yelling at their device right now.
Yeah. Yeah. But as Mr. Monkey and I are thinking, this in no way reflects, no one better say, making this a match-made event, it didn't work out, because this is not what we were asking for. We were asking for match-made, like Hero Nightfalls and heroic missions, not like the timed mission that we have this season, but all the ones in the past, like the heroic Vex mission and those things. And that's where they need to add matchmaking, is these, not on the master level or obviously not grandmaster level, but kind of like these heroic levels. There's no reason, or like the hard version of Dares of Eternity. It would be perfectly fine matchmaking that, especially it being a 6-player activity. There would be no issues. People would get it done pretty easily.
Yeah, for sure.
At least in my opinion. So please bring that. Thinking of you, Mr. Monkey, also. That's our big...
Bungie, please.
Yeah, that's our big Bungie. Please bring matchmaking into more activities. But where Bungie does some interesting things, they do some other interesting things. You want to talk about the economy changes?
Yeah, so my precursor to the conversation, right, was going through and using some of my exotic engrams that have been building up on my Titan and getting exotic pieces that I've had that are masterworked and just trying to get a better stat roll. And I've been using a lot of my Ascendand Shards and my Glimmer, and I've actually been cleaning it out. I've been pulling stuff from my postmaster, but Bungie did announce this week that they're going to be raising the cap to Ascendand Shards to 30, Ascendant Alloy to 30, tripling both caps, and doubling enhancement prisms, going from 50 to 100. But, and I think this is what's causing a lot of chaos that I've seen popping up, they will no longer go to the postmaster.
Yes. Okay. So first of all, I love everything about this, and I'm not a Bungie shill.
Lies.
We do love the game, and we stick up for a lot of things Bungie does. But when I think things are weird, I'll call it out. But everything about this, except for one small thing, if people were following discussions I've had with other people in the past, I was already separating the discussion of, yes, 10 was enough, but also I think it should be raised a little bit. And I called out that I think it would be raised. So this isn't just a Gator please thing. I called out, I knew Bungie would raise it at some point, but I was calling for more like 15 to 20. They raised it to 30. Fine, I think, whatever. I think 10 was enough for the most part. But the reason why I liked 15 is because that way you could masterwork like 3 exotics at a time. You know, they're 3 each, and maybe a set of legendaries, and that'd be 15-ish, and you're good. And then you can build them back up. There needs to be some kind of a limit. Obviously, they shouldn't keep raising them 100, 200, whatever, because no end-game material in other games have high limits. The cheap glimmers and golds do, but end-game currencies always have lower limits, like this. So I think this is a good thing. And then as a separate discussion, this is really where the discussion is lying now. And I think because this doesn't apply to a lot of people, and then other people think it applies to them, but they weren't really. So now they're just jumping on the bandwagon that maybe they're upset about it or applies to them. But the whole meta discussion here, which is so interesting, is the postmaster thing. How did this become a discussion more than raising the limits, right? Now, I don't know about you, Cyn. Like, I don't use my postmaster for storage very much. Have you done that in the past? Like for Ascend Shards? And it's fair if you have.
I definitely have, right? I mean, especially on when I don't have all 3 characters, right? I can see this being an issue for those 1%ers that run all 3 characters and have everything unlocked and want to masterwork every single piece that they get.
Yeah, I'm just asking about you. Yeah, we'll get to... Yeah.
But yeah. So I still have 7 Ascended Alloy in my postmaster and 37 enhancement prisms. That was
any shards?
Well, I did until tonight, where I burned quite a few of them, because the thing with focusing the exotic armor is you use a lot of those Ascendand Shards, and I burned quite a few of them. I probably burned through 10.
Yeah, but just as a general question, though, Ascendant Shards, you've sometimes stored some. What about other things in your postmaster? Like, do you generally try to get the legendary engrams out, or do you sometimes just let them sit there for a bit? Or are you messy with your postmaster, or do you keep it very tidy and you know things are in there and you don't want them to ever get bumped, or is it just kind of somewhere in between?
I think for the most part, I know what's in here. I have a couple weapons that I was keeping that I wasn't sure if I was going to keep or not, so I kept them in there because my character space usually has about 1 space open on it because I keep a bunch of weapons on there that I kind of alternate through. I've been trying to get a little bit better with that, but I have 4 weapons, a sparrow that I got that I didn't have room for, the 7 Ascendant Alloy, and 37 enhancement prisms, and that's it now. But again, that's because I burned through the Ascendant Shards themselves and got rid of those. But engrams I keep or dismantle, depending on what they are.
Okay. There's so many opinions I have about the postmaster. First of all, I don't even get why Bungie even ever allowed Ascendant Shards to go in there in the first place. Because if you think about it, not everything can go to the postmaster. Yeah, a lot can. Engrams, armor pieces, weapon pieces, Ascendant Shards up to 10. I mean, for at least a little bit longer. Some things, but not everything can go there. So why did they allow that to go there? They kind of set the problem up in their... Here's the thing. I really believe Bungie philosophically believes that the postmaster should not be used that way. And I believe that way too. And I get it. Play how you want to play. But you should not be storing things in your postmaster. In fact, some games even do this, and I would prefer the postmaster has a time limit for everything in it. You can only have stuff in there for the week, and then at reset, whatever you have in your postmaster goes away. You know, it's just truly a temporary holding space. And that's just my opinion. That may sound harsh. I don't know. But I think the postmaster thing should have been a separate discussion, because even before this announcement came out, I was having some discussions with people like, well, Ascend Shards in the postmaster is a whole different weird complex thing, and really we shouldn't be using our postmasters this way, even though you can and it's your right to. But that's not what it's really meant to do, though. So you got to kind of think the writing could be in the wall at some point that Bungie would change it, and sure enough, they did. So they told us. And I think I want to believe them on this, although if you're part of the 1%, you may not believe it. But here's the thing. We can have 30 Ascendant Shards just in our main consumable inventory space now that is shared between the 3 characters. I think that is a huge plus. But what we won't be able to do is have any in the postmaster. I mean, any ones that you still have there, you'll get to keep, but once they go away with this new change, you won't be able to add any more. So people were doing the math pretty quickly. Like you said, well, we can have 30 total, but if we were doing it before, we could have 10 in our consumables that are shared, and then 10 in each character's postmaster. So 10, 10, 10, 10, that's 40. And then, oh boy, we're getting a nerf to Ascendand Shards when they were trying to give us a buff.
Yeah. But I mean, that's like if you're using all 3 characters.
Well, yes. We need to remember Bungie said less than 1%. Okay. So I can understand people are getting on the bandwagon, even if you weren't doing this. The idea of it now that people have talked about it, you may be a little salty. But you weren't doing that, were you? Tell me if you were doing this. I only know one person that kind of claims they were on all 3 characters.
Yeah, so I mean, not on all 3 characters. I mean, I may have done it at one point, maybe on a warlock if I needed to do a GM or something, and I had a couple that went to a postmaster there.
But not the max of 40.
Correct.
Yeah. Yeah,
it's not something that I would regularly run and have the need for. But on the same token, in reference to the discussion of what you need to do to focus exotic pieces now, it's expensive to do that. So if you need 40 to do that, dang, that's a lot of pieces you're focusing. But on the same token, if you're maxing out anyway,
no.
The point is just go run the stuff. You're going to run the stuff anyway. Just run it when you need them.
That's a whole separate discussion that we've said many times over, and other podcasts have to, Hazel, about they're not that hard to get these days. I mean, it's not just GMs. There's many places you can get them, including buying them from Rahul. If you play the game even an average amount, you can get easily one per week, per once a month, worst case scenario, just by buying one through other materials that you have. So, yeah, that's a separate discussion. And like, yes, we should be, even if we spend them all, 10, 40, whatever the number is, people are going to spend them all, but they aren't that bad to get back. But I do want to remind everyone, less than 1%. So what that means is the 99% rest of us, which is pretty much everyone who's hearing this, unless everyone in our community is the 1%ers, but the 99, everyone listening to this, we will be in a better situation. We don't have to go to a character to get them, move them around, whatever. They will be in the consumable available for all of our characters, easy and ready to go. I think it's a win, but let us know what you think. You know, write a comment on the podcast and let us know. Sorry, I had to talk about that. That was a fun one.
Yeah, it's definitely an interesting discussion, but I think it's going in the right direction, honestly, for me.
Uh-oh, you think it should be even more?
No, I'm honestly, I don't care if it's more. I'm going to use what I have, and if I need more, I know where to get them.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, who needs to focus that many or get that many things all at once? That's just, it's a lot to do. Just take your time, you know, like, and even it's like you don't have to buy complete 2 sets on all 3 characters on the exact same day. Spread it out some, you know.
Exactly.
So, all right. That's that. But, you know, alloys to 30, that's great. I don't think anyone said much about that. And then enhancement prisms going to 100. Those all seem like normal pluses there, but
right.
I am interested also. Okay, that's pretty much it with the economy things, and then we have a little more news from the TWID, but actually, one small line at the end here, they do say the changes announced today are a precursor to some larger economy changes that we will reveal in our near future. So, this isn't everything.
More to come.
Yeah.
Magic right. Mike in the chat says, and I told you guys they were raising the economy last time.
Well, you missed it because I predicted that too, Magic Mike. But yeah, listen back to when the podcast episode comes out. All right. Nice to have you in here, by the way. We always like to give shout out to people in the live chat if we get a chance. And if you have any questions for us, let us know. All right. Let's get to the TWID because I am excited to know a save of the date.
Yes. And that's it. Just a date. Nothing but a date.
We have a date. What is this date, you may ask?
Wrath of the Machine. My fingers are still crossed for that.
The reprised raid that's coming out. So August 22nd is when the season starts. I was hoping it would be the Friday after, especially since it's a reprised raid. Why make us wait 2 Fridays? Anyways, they announced September 1st will be the drop of the reprised raid that's coming back. And they did not give us any clues in the TWID. I tried to read it multiple times. Nothing seems to have any wordage of what it may be.
Yeah, I looked as well. I tried to see if anything stood out.
No, not really. The only thing that stands out a little bit weird is they said a few things to keep in mind, just like when King's Fall and Vault of Glass returned, contest mode will be enabled for 48 hours. Like, it wasn't 48 hours back then. It was 24.
Last raid they did, it was
48.
Maybe 48 for Ron. Yeah. But I want to say the last reprised ones were all 24.
Yeah, all the raids were 24 for the longest time. So it was they kind of messed up on the information there. But nonetheless, they're telling us it's going to be 48 hours again, gross. With a start on Friday, and then going till Sunday before the contest.
Sunday reset.
Yeah.
Yeah, which is honestly, for me, being that soon after in a month, I probably won't be playing it till Sunday anyway.
Oh, I'm definitely going to be hopping in on Friday, but I'm not expecting to get very far. Contest mode is always annoying, but reprised raids I do like to hop in. I have such strong opinions on new raids. I never like to hop in on contest mode, but especially if it's Wrath. Now, maybe if it's something like Scourge coming back, I probably will not hop in on Friday because I'll be very salty.
A little.
Yeah, but even Leviathan and definitely Wrath the Machine, I'm not going to be able to stay patient, and I'm going to be hopping on Friday, but I won't be expecting too much, and then we can regroup again, of course, on Sunday or whenever when contest mode is done.
Right.
We'll figure it out. I think we're all not too stressed about it this time, but still, it could be exciting for me to check it out on Friday, depending on what rate it is.
Yeah, I'm excited to see what it's going to be.
I know, and we still probably won't know until August 22nd. Oh, well.
Patience. A month away at this point. A little under a month, actually.
Yeah. How many weeks? Let's see.
3 weeks?
Yeah.
Just over 3 weeks. By the time this releases, about 3 weeks. So
yeah.
This release on Tuesday, which will be the 1st, so 3 weeks.
Right on. You know, I wasn't even supposed to be here tonight.
Yeah, that misery business, I tell you.
I had a Paramore concert scheduled.
And don't worry, we're still into you.
You know, they don't like performing Misery Business. They said that's an old song that they don't like anymore. But
they were also never meant to break.
Their mind.
How many references do you think I can get in?
Hey, do you know all the new songs though? I like the new ones better, pretty much.
I don't.
There you go.
I'm
caught
bad
in the middle. You're caught in the middle between the old and the new songs.
I know, right? I might have to go on a Paramore listening spree.
Yeah. But anyways, there was some illness. They didn't say who it was in the touring group, but they got rescheduled for me for August 13th. So I will see him then instead. So I'm here after all, which I guess is good because Des wasn't able to make it. So you and me holding hands, skipping along the pathway.
Shirtless endeavor on a bike.
Whatever.
I'm going to keep throwing these inside jokes and like weird references out. Don't you worry.
Yep.
I'll never change. Never.
Never. Anything else interesting in the TWID? I'm looking through it right now.
No, vote for a map. They do make mention of the Veil containment missions. They are continuing through the end of the season. And that's about it. You can go back and catch up for anyone or any weeks you've missed. You just got to go in, find the mission, and play it. As a reference to that, you do have to finish something. You have to finish, I think, one of the missions to be able to unlock it, which I think at this point, most of the players who've been playing consistently have already unlocked it.
Yeah, but let me tell you more about it, because I know in some other podcasts people weren't sure. Do you have to do the mission? Yes, you can do it. You can do catch up, but you don't have to keep doing the mission over and over again. When you're in that room where you hear the audio cue, don't leave. Just interact again. You can just play all the audio cues in line. So it saves you a lot of time. So just go into the mission, get to that spot, listen to audio cue. When it's done, listen again, however many times you need to catch up. And it's well worth it. It is some good lore that's in there.
Yeah, and I'm guilty of not going back in there other than the first week. That was the only time I've ever touched it. But I think at this point, maybe waiting to like a week or so before reset for the final week of the season, or maybe just going in that last week and just knocking them all out at once.
Yeah. All right.
Vote for a map for trials this week. They had a little bit on the games for change and some known issues.
And reminder again, the raid race coming up, Elmer Fudd Games putting this on with RNG Gator. If you don't have a team yet, create a team. Have fun with all of us. And what's that date again?
It's the week before reset, so it is, or the
August...
weekend before reset, so the 19th.
19th. I wanted to say the 12th, but it's the 19th. That's right.
And do you know if there are any teams that have already registered outside of ours?
We didn't even officially register yet. We still need to come up with a name and everything.
For shame.
Yeah. I don't think anyone's in too big of a rush right now, but at the same time, people need to practice. It's coming up sooner than you think.
Well, I know we're going to be practicing on Saturday, actually.
Don't give any secrets away.
You have to think our competition would have to be listening to this, but
maybe not.
We still haven't even
competition. Everyone's competition, and no one's competition. And I mean that not in a stuck-up way either. Like, I think everyone can have fun and have a chance. And again, if there's some like try-hard team that comes from like a splinter community and runs in here that's like not normal of like some of the communities, then all of us will get spanked. And then, and also, I want to see more teams just join up and just have fun, and we're all just kind of go. There could be fun groupings, like you have like the top 3 teams that maybe have a chance of competing together, and then you have a bunch of other people that are just kind of like maybe not big time raiders, but everyone's having fun. And then it would be really awesome to watch the stream and see how they pull together and who can, on the fly. It's all about, in my opinion, not wiping. Yes, you got to move fast. You got to do boss phases. You generally want to get all the boss phases down to 2 phases, but if you can never wipe, that's one of the best things to go for it first.
Yeah. So I know there's a couple groups over in GDC. What is one of them called? The Dino Nuggies and Goop Troop. And there's one other one. I can never remember the name. But Fire Team Dino Nuggies. Calling you out. Join. Goop Troop. You better join. And the third one that I can never remember the name of. Join.
So what are you even talking about? These are groups that haven't joined, but they're just...
Yeah, they're like little groups over, like little... Like you said,
so you don't even know if they're interested then. You're just calling things out. Okay,
just calling them out now to join. Yeah, absolutely. That's how I roll.
Well, again, I'm calling out... Cyn sometimes doesn't know what's happening, but no, I'm calling out anyone who wants to join at all, no matter where you are. Again, let me know, DM me, and I can get you into our Patreon for a couple months for free.
Base Mafia. That's the other one. I found it.
Just to, again, people may not even keep those names. I mean, we got to come up with a name too. We're
After Dark?
I know, right? That'd be too obvious. Maybe we'll just have to do that because nothing else is coming to mind.
Repeat winners?
Hey, in the chat, let us know. Or if we haven't come up with a name before next, when this episode comes out. Hey, if we like your name, we'll give you lots of credit. Doesn't mean we'll use it for sure, but let us know.
The Awoken. Just go something
too normal, too boring.
Too normal.
Yeah. After Dark would be better than The Awoken.
Only Sins? Can we finally use that for something?
No. Maybe. I don't know.
Damn.
We got to get everyone on board. We'll get our DM group chat going.
Fair enough.
I don't want ideas from you, Cyn. I want ideas from the general public. We'll hear your ideas in our group chat. Yeah.
Team Diablo?
No.
50 Shades of Magic Mike.
I mean, that's not bad.
Poor Magic Mike in the chat. Going to get the brunt of that.
So real quick about Diablo, and then we can close up here. New season of Diablo. What do we think of it?
It's interesting. I mean, a little bit of time that I have been playing on it, I've not really been listening to a lot of the storylines or the voice lines in there. I've just been skipping through them and just running the content. Definitely interesting. Added a new aspect to the season where you got these little things you got to interact with, or hearts or something, or you might know better what they're called.
Yeah, caged hearts and
whatnot. But it's interesting, right? Because you have to rerun a lot of the side missions. Some of the stuff carries over from what they call their eternal realm, the non-seasonal realm, and like your altars of Lilith, but you have to log into that character first. And you have to rerun all the side quests, for the renown.
No, you don't. You don't have to.
You don't have to. But if you want the renown, you have to. But
that's nothing to do with the seasonal stuff.
No, really. No. Yeah. But I mean, I think it's good. To me, it's a good opportunity. If you're looking to make another character, just make it as a seasonal character and start fresh. Go through the content and do it that way. It's a great opportunity to learn a new character and find which one or class works best for you. I started a rogue this season. I had a barbarian and a sorcerer from the Eternal Realm, or non-seasonal character. But rogue seems to be working pretty well. I used to traditionally be a barbarian in Diablos of past, where Whirlwind was usually one of the top builds that you could do. And I felt that barbarian, during this Diablo is a little lackluster. I felt sorcerer so far has done really well, and so has the rogue, with very minimal effort to building out some of the skill tree so far. It's viable. It's viable and fun to play.
Yeah. All right. Let me tell you what I think too about, and I did finish the seasonal story. Well, at least the main guided through you story, and then there's still things you can grind for end game within the season. But and I'm going to kind of compare this to Destiny seasons, because this is really my first experience with another game season pass bar and mission and everything. And I didn't really do it in Diablo 3. I kind of tried half-assed once and haven't played other games with season pass bars. But you can have, so the season pass bar, $10 for if you want the deluxe version. There's a free version and a deluxe, and the free doesn't get you much, but the deluxe gets you tons, way more than Destiny does. There are tons of ornaments, weapon skins, armor ornaments, all sorts of shit. Like, it kind of puts the Destiny one to shame for the same price or even slightly cheaper. And here's what's also interesting: the only thing you pay for is if you want that premium season pass. The campaign, the story, is free no matter what. We also don't get that in Destiny, right? If we go into the season, we get maybe the opening mission, but we don't get the rest of the seasonal campaign stuff unless we pay for it. Now, I don't think that's bad. I kind of wonder how Diablo can afford it. Maybe they're just, all the whales are buying tons of ornaments and stuff, and I'll gladly pay $10, $20 a season in Destiny for missions and campaigns and stuff. But again, since this is my first experience with another game and how they do their season pass bar, it is quite interesting. I think Bungie could learn a lot from this. Well, I'm sure they know this. It's probably like too hard for them to change it after the fact. Another interesting thing that other games do, and this we're also seeing this in Diablo, is if you go all the way through the season pass bar, and let's say you bought the premium one, and then you won't quite have enough for the very next season, but definitely 2 seasons later, you have enough of the in-game currency that you can actually buy. They let you buy the season with that in-game currency. So you can really, if you play the game a lot, only pay like every other season, like maybe $10 twice a year, something like that. Maybe even less if you play it a certain way. So that was I found really interesting also. And I know, again, a lot of people already know this from other games, but I'm liking it. The story was quite fun. And I think the changes they made, they have like different kind of aspects, just like Destiny has the the artifact, with different things that you can spec into. And those are good. And of course, they'll change it in the season. And then they have like a journey, which is, think about like triumphs or seasonal challenges for Destiny. And also, I'll try to be fair because I'm new with the game of Diablo. So right now it's all exciting with the season stuff. I can't see myself doing this maybe every season in the long term, but I've liked it enough this season, and I'll probably do it every once in a while, or maybe next season at least. But the journey, the triumphs type of thing that you need to do also seem a little more varied and a little more interesting than what we have to do in Destiny. And I don't think it's just because I played Destiny forever. It's just that Destiny, we have so many things. We have PvP that people may not like me, or Gambit things, or PvE, but like Diablo's all PvE, and so on. There's so many more things they can pick from that are interesting.
It's not all
like
PvE.
Well, yeah, but that part, no one cares about the little PvP part. In fact, there's no challenges that I saw in there for that part. It's basically all PvE. And what I mean is there's tons to it. So their journey, their version of triumphs are actually a lot more interesting because they have a lot more to pick from to get done. Right. So it doesn't seem as boring. So just my thoughts. I think it's a good, and at first I wasn't sure too, because it was a little like kind of weird starting over. Some people have said, well, that's a stupid idea, but like, again, and then I hear people in Destiny saying like, we miss leveling. So it's like, which side are you on?
Right.
But
it's definitely a different flip. And I know Diablo 3 there towards, for a while, you could actually reset a character you've already played, keep all your equipment basically. You keep all your equipment. Or they might have sent your equipment to your stash, and you had to you just reset a character and start over. But you didn't have to create a new character at that point. But I'm okay with the leveling grind in it. I think that's half the fun.
Mm-hmm. The thing about Diablo I'm also noticing compared to Destiny is I don't feel like there's as much range in Destiny of feeling like, if you're way underpowered in Destiny, you're not going to be able to go into like a Ron raid or a GM or something like that and do anything. But other than like that power thing, a build of basically nothing masterwork to build of just base stats versus a build of like min-maxing masterwork, because I know how both those feel, because I've been on my hunter with nothing really going on, and I've been slowly building it up, and like, yeah, it feels a little bit better, but not a lot. But in Diablo, you have this much wider range, and I guess it could be considered power creep down the road, but you feel pretty underpowerful. Then all of a sudden things start to click, and it's like 3 times more powerful. It's like, whoa, it's like this huge, you're like just having so much fun. And then you think like, well, if I'm having so much fun, this is going to get boring. No, there's Nightmare level 3, Nightmare level 4, and it's the whole world. Can you imagine if we could go into patrols, Cyn, on like a higher level, just world traveling? Not everyone would want to. You don't have to. In Diablo, you don't have to either. But like we're really powerful in Destiny, and then we get bored like a few weeks later because we're too powerful. But then we can just crank it up a level. Let's do Destiny level 3 now. And then,
but the drops are also basically scaled for that too, because you get better drops, like sacred versions. They're gold, or they're exotic type, weapons that have perks on them. you start getting better equipment too to go along with that to help with that difficulty.
Yeah. And shout out to Hammer, another person who joined the chat. Yeah, you look like a scrub, though. I'm assuming in Destiny, if you don't have a gold border around all your armor. Yeah, definitely. I feel that, too. I even have to remind myself, I haven't masterworked this all the way, and I don't necessarily need to for what I'm doing right now, but it doesn't have the gold border around it, so it feels so incomplete. Right? I'm sure you feel that way, too, Cyn.
Yeah, I mean, in some instances, but from our discussion earlier, I went and redid some of my armor anyway, just so I could max them out.
Yeah, yeah. But yeah, that's just our little Diablo talk at the end. We talked about all the Destiny stuff. I don't know if you have anything else on your plate, Cyn, or any last-minute questions from the chat before we start wrapping up. It was a shorter show for tonight.
I mean, if you ask my kiddo who's with me now, he would probably say, let's go play some Minecraft. I know he's been itching to do that. And but no, that's about it. I mean, I'm ready for the season to be over and into the next season with the raid. Give me a little more reason to jump in, because raiding is typically what I like to jump in for. I know we did the one tonight, and we have one set up on Saturday, and I missed that Vault of Glass here earlier yesterday, so earlier on in the week. But yeah, I'm excited to do a little more raiding here as the season comes to an end, in preparation for that raid race, and also raiding next season with a new one.
Of course. Yeah, definitely. Definitely. Well, awesome. Yeah, good talk about all that stuff. And let us know when you're listening to this after the fact. If you have any comments, you can come into our questions for the show. Chat, put them in there. Anywhere you want. You can put them in general. It'll work fine for us.
Yeah.
Hey, I do want to give a shout out to Guardian Downcast. They just had their 4-year anniversary. They're a little past. They're just a little behind us. I'm trying to remember always. Was it like 4 months after we started?
Like 2 or 3 months.
2 or 3 months. I thought it was like 3 or 4, but it doesn't matter. But yeah. So congrats on that. Again, some of us are third wave Destiny podcasts. I count us in the Owl Sector Alliance and Two Titans and a Hunter. They started before us, and of course Potato Thumbs were before us. But I don't know. Potato Thumbs can almost be considered second wave. But shout out to all of us that are still around and holding strong with podcasting. So
still
congrats,
going.
Guardian down on 4 years.
GG's.
Yep. All right.
Unless you're saying they reached the mark where they're about to stop podcasting.
Why would I say that?
I don't know.
Did you reach the mark, Cyn? Are you done?
No. I'm still going strong. Even though I snuck into Diablo at the moment.
Yeah. I need to sneak some food after this. I'm hungry. But and I'm tired too. I got like 3 hours of sleep last night. So we are closing the door here. Maybe we'll have a after dark, but regardless, Cyn, where can people find you?
They can find me slaying some bandits in Diablo 4 currently. Twitter, Cyn_media. And, of course, here in the Discord as Lair of Hardwood. Thanks to Kato for his Patreon name change. Kingsley, Necromancer. Where can they find you?
Yes, you can find me as Kingsley Mac, all the places. Or Kingsley or Necromancer. Something with the word Kingsley. I am King Scumbag or something, Dimebag something in GDC.
I think
just listen to that. Mod. Just listen to that episode. And you can find information about our show, most importantly, on our lovely website, theguardianhub.com.
The best hub on the net.
Well, thank you so much, Cyn. And thank you to Des. Hopefully getting some rest. Yep, you're welcome. You're welcome. And we will talk to you all, and have a good week. See ya.
Bye.